So if I stay stagnant, I keep playing the blame game, finding any and every opportunity to be stuck, that's on me and no one else. That's on me and no one else. I'm here to empower you today because it's on you, sis. If you want it, go get it. If you want it, go get it. If you don't want it, don't go get it. If you're not getting it right now, do what you've been doing. But if you want it, you have to go get it. To the Redefining YEW podcast. I'm your host, Lyndria Wynn, and we are back for episode number 6, y'all. 6. Time is flying, and the year is literally flying. Like, I was telling a couple of the people that I work with, I'm like, man, this year is literally almost halfway over. It is officially June, and it is officially my birthday month. I'm excited because I am hitting a big number this year. I'm gonna be a big girl, I'll be 30. And I can't tell y'all how excited I am about my 30th birthday. Like, we're going to achieve a new level of rest this year. And I'm not even playing, like, there's gonna be a new level of peace. I'm going up this year. That's all I can think of. 30 and thriving is the goal. That's the goal this year. That's all I can think of is this next decade of my life, I am going to thrive. I know a lot of people, they dread their 30th birthday because maybe they have not, achieved some of the things that they're desiring or they wanted to. Maybe they don't have the family, maybe they don't have the career, maybe they don't have, what they thought they would in this current moment. And we've all had, moments like that where I'm not a homeowner, so I could get down on myself. My peers and my colleagues, they, around this age, they were all checking these boxes. And it's like, own your journey, sis. Like, whatever yours looks like, own that thing. When I turned 30, in a couple days on the 29th, the level of rest that I am going to be achieving that coming weekend, because my birthday is in the middle of the week this year. It's just a weird day, but it's going to be my birthday nonetheless. Today we're going to be talking about accountability. We're going to be talking about accountability because as I started to reflect, like I just said, there are some things that I just haven't achieved yet. There are some things that I have not actualized in my life just yet, and I want to. I know now that will not be by my 30th birthday. And I think that's what happens with us. Like, if we set a goal by a time stamp, if we start seeing that date approaching closer and closer and closer and closer, whether it's you trying to lose weight or you be in a committed relationship, or you be this amount out of debt, or you be a homeowner, or whatever your it is, because we all have something that we're working towards. I hope if you're in this tribe, we're working towards things here. Okay. We're not sitting dormant. We're not lying dormant. We're up. We're going up. Okay. We're growing and glowing. I think the biggest thing for me is just if I don't see how I'm going to get to this goal that I've set for myself, I kind of like lay off of it. Like, you know what? Let me take my foot off the gas. Like, there's no reason to kill myself or starve myself or, I'm not going out to eat no more this year. Like, it's easy for us to be dramatic and to do just dramatic things when, we see the end that we've set for ourselves approaching, and our end is nowhere in sight, if you know what I mean. And I just want to encourage you that whatever your thing is, whatever you've been working towards, don't give up on it, okay? Don't give up on it. But also, don't be so caught up in when you achieve it or the time in which you achieve it, because you placing that pressure of I need to do it by this time almost insinuates that you're running out of it. And here's what I got to tell you. None of us control time. We can be here today and gone 30 minutes from now. Like literally, time waits for no one. Time is on no one's side. God controls time. And ultimately, all we can do is maximize the time that we're given. And that's how we're going to talk about accountability today, because we are accountable for the 24 hours that we're given. And everyone's given the same amount of time. And it's so easy for us to be like, oh, well, they don't have kids, or they don't have this. They don't have this level of responsibility that I have. What they do have is the same 24 hours. But what they do with those 24 hours is up to them. They're accountable for what they do and they don't do in the time. That's what makes us all the same. We're all on level playing field when it comes to time. None of us know when our end is coming, even if you have a terminal disease. God is the healer of all healers. So you could literally be given an expiration date by a physician or a doctor, and you end up outliving that thing 10, 20 years. We're always, looking at the clock and, oh, well, what did I do by this time? Oh, it's halftime now, so I got to get it here. I got to do it this. No. Let's take our eyes off the clock for just a second and focus on the thing that we can actually control. Us, our minds, our hearts, our bodies, our actions. Those are the things that we can control. And those are the things that we have to be accountable to. So I think a couple weeks ago, I may have been talking to one of my best friends, Bree, and we have been on this fitness journey, I feel like forever. Bree, when you watch this episode, please just comment and let the people know who you are. That's my banner. But my best friend and I feel like we have been on our fitness journeys for so long, and we've both achieved like a certain level of success. And it's so funny because every time I think about it, like my best friend, her birthday is tomorrow, actually, on the 5th. But every time I think about our fitness journeys, I think about us collectively and how much we encourage each other and how much we push each other. And it's like when one of us is up, the other one is inevitably down. It never fails. Like it's very seldom when we're both like gas pedal to the metal, like pushing it. Like we're literally one's pulling the other one up. And that's beautiful because we can be accountable to one another. Myself, Bree, and our good friend Lamar, we're all in this group text where we get it in and we try to get in at least 4 workouts a week. But I gotta tell you something. What's so funny is that when I don't want to be held accountable, I kind of just don't say nothing and just pray to God that don't nobody say nothing to me. And that is so toxic, y'all. That is so toxic. Because if we continue down that path of just coasting when we know, like in our heart of hearts, something, we supposed to be doing something, but we coast because we desire to be comfortable. We're tired, or we have an excuse. We all got them. We can rattle off a laundry list of excuses. But in that moment where we have that excuse, we have a critical choice to make. A critical choice. Am I going to choose my comfort, or am I going to choose whatever your thing is? Fitness, financial peace, whatever your thing is. Like, you have a critical choice to make. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I get sick of making choices. Like, I just want it to happen. Like, I just take the option away from me, Lord. Like, just take it away. Take it away. And that's not how this works. That's not how this works. That's not how strength is built. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your temple and your buns of steel are not going to happen without those squats, sis. They're just not going to happen. And I'm here to just kind of put some things on the table. So when we're working towards something, it is so important, again, have some people in your corner. Number one, community. I can't stress that enough. Get some people in your corner. Have a tribe, people that are working towards the same things that you are. And your tribe doesn't have to be the same for everything. I got a fitness tribe. I got people who can pour into me when it comes to, creating a legacy and being financially savvy and things of that nature. I have people that pour into me when it comes to from a faith perspective and pursuing God and just being on top of, what I know I should be doing, just pursuing Christ, continuing down that path, down that journey. And some of those people don't even know that they're in my community, because we have something so powerful, the power of technology. You tuning in to this podcast every 2 weeks. This is community. You may have never said anything to me. I may not even know that you're watching, but you being here is community. You feeding your spirit with positive things, taking in positive things, that is community. Start filling your ear gates and your eye gates with positivity, with upward thinking, with upward mobility. Like, you have to really fill yourself with good things and fuel yourself with good things that are going to serve you today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow. I really started thinking about like my fitness journey and just what the holdup is and what the real issue is, why I've gotten this far, and then it's a plateau, and then I go hard, and then it's a plateau, hard, and it's a plateau. And I know now that it is the timestamp. Every time that I set a goal, every time that I go hard, I'm going hard in the paint, it's because I have a target in mind. And it's normally specific to time. I'm running out of time. I got to do it by this time. And when we do that, and I'm just speaking from a weight loss perspective right now, but you can also apply it to, paying off debt or whatever it is, being in a committed relationship. If we don't get it by that time, what happens after that? Or if you get it by that time, what happens after that? I can't tell you. I've literally, since I started my journey, I've lost a total of 52 pounds, but I'm not at my 52 pound weight loss right now. I'm about 30-ish, and I've been sitting around 30 since I started my journey a few years ago. And I'm saying that because it's one thing for you to meet the goal. It's another thing for you to sustain it. You got to have, those practices and those principles implemented in your life so that the weight loss, the debt loss, the relationship, whatever it is, the career, it's sustainable. That you continue to educate yourself, you continue to get experience, you continue to network, whatever it is, you continue to post. Even content creators, you can't just get to 1 million followers and subscribers and think that you're going to keep them once you're there. No, once you get to that level, there's even more work that still has to be done, and you are accountable for it. If you lose them, it's on you. Ain't nobody's fault but mine. Okay? Ain't nobody's fault but mine. The reason I haven't met my goal, it ain't nobody's fault but mine. It's not my kids because they don't eat what I eat. It's not my husband's. Ain't nobody's fault but mine. If nobody's told you that lately, I'm here to tell you, sis. Ain't nobody's fault but your own. It's one of those things. And I'm saying this because I love you. I'm saying this, Dree, because I love you. Ain't nobody's fault but mine. That's empowering, because you can't blame anybody else for your failure. But when you succeed, you know that between you and God, that y'all did that. And you can be proud of it. You don't have to give the glory or the props to anyone else, because when you get to where you want to be, when you get to that place, you'll be able to look back and be like, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. But in the interim, be accountable. Like, be responsible. Take that thing personally. I know a lot of times, again, like I just told you, I shy away from community when I don't want to be held accountable. But consider yourself to be a part of your community. You are an audience of one. My life matters. My desires matter. My own influence on myself matters. Have you ever thought about that? Like, a lot of times, oh, it's just me. No, it's just me. I'm not going to continue to fail me. I matter. My desires, my hopes, my aspirations, my future children, the things that God has placed on the inside of me, all of those things bottled up, I matter. I matter. So if I stay stagnant, I keep playing the blame game, finding any and every opportunity to be stuck, that's on me and no one else. That's on me and no one else. I'm here to empower you today because it's on you, sis. If you want it, go get it. If you want it, go get it. If you don't want it, don't go get it. If you're not getting it right now, do what you've been doing. But if you want it, you have to go get it. I went on a field trip with my son yesterday, Levi, the baby boy, and they're learning how to swim. And they're not proficient swimmers yet. We'll just say that. They're not proficient in the water. And he doesn't like to get his face wet. I mean, he will, but he doesn't like it. So going under the water, diving, the other little kids, they're in pre-K, so it's 4 and 5-year-olds. They're in pre-K, they're swimming, they're diving headfirst in the water, going, getting the rings. And he's waiting on somebody to hand him a ring. I'm like, Levi, I'm calling from the end of the pool, obviously. Levi, man, go get it. No, go get it. You want it? You waiting on somebody to hand it to you? You waiting on the get rich quick scheme to blow by your way? You waiting to hit the lottery? No, sis, go get it. Go get it. Go get it. That's what this episode is about. If you don't get it, ain't nobody's fault but your own. Period. Mic drop. That's it. Hard truth today. Episode 6. We in here. We in here. Rip the Band-Aid off. It is what it is. We in here. You don't like where you are? Ain't nobody's fault but your own. Let's change it. Let's get active. Let's get active in our glow up. Get active in your glow up. Like, don't sit in it. Don't be like, oh, I've done so much already. There's more. There's more for you. There's more. Go get it. I just feel, no, there's more. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. We got to be accountable for the things that we're partaking in, both emotionally, physically, spiritually, the whole nine. We got to be responsible for those things because they impact something far greater. They impact our temples, our physical temples, but our spiritual ones as well. Like, this thing is just a host for the spirit that God has placed in us, essentially. And if we are hosts of the Holy Spirit, we've got to make sure that we are taking good care of it. Good care of it. Because he can choose to dwell anywhere. If you got the Holy Spirit on the inside of you, we got to take care of the thing hosting it. My whole self deserves to be healthy, to be able to go and play with my kids and do whatever I want to do for as long as I see fit, as long as I want to do it. But I have to make choices and decisions today that's going to serve me, not tomorrow or not by my birthday or not by Christmas, but for the rest of my life. It's been one of those weeks where it's been a week of reflection for me. My whole entire family was just sick this week, and I'm like sick. And obviously things become very clear to me. Like when my body starts failing me, that's when I know, like, oh, red flag, something's going on. When your body starts failing you, something's going on. I never want to get to a place where I want to do something and my body won't allow me to. That frightens me. I don't want to have to be told by the doctor that, oh, you're a diabetic or you have something going on. I don't want to have to make a hard change because my body's failing me. I want to voluntarily make the decision, be an active participant in my glow up so that God can continue to use me at his peak. Not my own, but his peak. And there's no telling what he has in store for me. And my temple, my body, my mind has to be whole. It has to be disciplined, y'all. It has to be disciplined. Don't allow the influences, the external influences of the world to get you off track for the life of luxury and wholeness and health that God has promised you. Just think about our implantation, mankind's implantation in the Garden of Eden. He intended for our bodies to be whole. He gave us everything that we needed in that garden to live a whole and healthy and sustainable life. He gave it to us. So let's be wise, guys. Let's redefine what beauty is. And we don't have to be skinny. It's not even about an image at this point. It's about when you go to the doctor for your physical, which I pray that you're going for every year. But when you go, you get excited about a clean bill of health. Your levels are well. The insulin levels, they're right. Like everything looks good. Let's get excited about those things where you're in good health. You're in good health. That means that not stressing about things that we have no business stressing about because we don't control it. Like time. Time is going to pass. We don't have any control over it. It's going to pass inevitably. Stop stressing and racking your mind and your brain about things that are going to time that you have no control over. The time is going to pass. What you do with the time that you're given is what you're responsible for. Is what you're going to be held accountable for. All right? So let's be great, y'all. We're going to transition right into the redefining moment. Okay? So over the last couple weeks, I think that the enemy has been like super busy when it comes to my immediate circle and the people that I love and I hold near to me. Just super busy and just I've been a listening ear for a lot of different situations over the past couple weeks. And the voice of God has just been so clear when it comes to, the root of things. And how did you get here? Like, how did you get here? I think a lot of times we become so resolution based and we want it to be resolved and be over. And there's some things that our choices don't allow to be over. Like, it's not a quick one and done. It is what it is. Sometimes things take time to, be rebuilt and be restored. And I think something that God has been sharing with me is just being actively aware and being present in the moment and understanding how you got here. Like, what transpired to get you here? Why do you think this way about yourself? Why do you feel this way about yourself? Why do you allow people to treat you this way? Why does people's words carry so much weight, or this particular person's words carry so much weight with you. Like, he's been really just dealing with me about the root of things. And because he's been dealing with me from the root, about the root of things, he's allowing me to see people with an eye and a lens of compassion that I typically wouldn't. If I'm going to be honest about it, like, there's some certain things and certain people that it is what it is. My flesh will say, you got exactly what you deserve. But he's allowing me to look at people with a lens of love and a lens of compassion where I typically wouldn't. And I'm so grateful for that, because he's giving me the ability, the tools, and the resources that's going to serve me, not only here, but wherever he's trying to take me. Wherever he's trying to take me. And he gave me this phrase. So I enjoy a good game of spades. Any of my spades players, tap in. Let me know. Like, we should get together at the cookout one day. But I enjoy the game of spades. Like, I enjoy the camaraderie, the trash talking. I'm not much of a trash talk. I let the cards do the walking. I've seen far too many people write checks they mouth can't cash. I've seen too many. I'm not a big talker, but I can play some spades. Okay. And every now and then, like, if you get engulfed in the game, or you rearranging your cards and nothing's changing, like the game is still moving, but you get distracted for a second. Your eyes are off the prize, off the table for a second. And the minute that you look back down, there's cards down there, and it's on you. It's your turn to go. And the first question that you ask is, without talking across the board, what led? What led? What led? Let that sink in for a minute. We were just talking about accountability. But what led? So when it comes to the root of things, identifying the root of things, I went through a foundations class a few years ago at Lake Mary Church, and it changed my entire life. Like, my family is better because of it. Like, I learned so much about my faith and just who God is calling me to. And that was like the beginning of the re-beginning of my faith journey. Like, I was baptized for the first time. Like, so much good came from that experience. And I heard a story that I'll never forget, that I always think about a dog fighter. He would basically fight dogs, and he would have people come and bet on the dogs, and he would, obviously bet on the dogs as well. And whichever dog he bet on always won. Whatever dog he bet on, it always won. The people became suspicious, and they're like, hey, like, how are you doing that? There's no way that you can know who's gonna win the fight every single time. And he's like, it's super easy for me to know that, because whatever dog I feed that day wins. Easy, right? If you aren't feeding, let's just say your spirit, that's one dog, and then your flesh is the other dog. Whichever dog you feed more, they're gonna have more strength. Now, obviously there's overindulgence. Yeah, you get so engulfed in one that you completely miss the other. But there's a thing. There's literally science behind this. Whichever dog you feed, they're going to have the strength to fight and to resist temptation, to fight and to resist, people bad mouthing you, or your rage can be controlled if you feed your spirit. What does that look like? Instead of scrolling your apps first, pick up your Bible app. Like, little things that you can do to honor God first. If that's thank you, Lord, the minute that you wake up in the morning. Whatever that looks like for you. If that's rolling out of the bed and getting on your knees and praying and crying out to God, or spending time in His Word, the very first thing that you do. What led? And the reason that's so important, the reason that's so powerful, especially on your journey to being the best version of yourself, is because when you start to look back on the things that you haven't accomplished, you can get to the root of that thing pretty quickly and say, what led? How did I get here? And if God wasn't in it, there's your answer. We can't do this thing called life without him. And so many times we get disappointed and we get frustrated because we're trying to control the very thing that we don't have control over. He is the author and the finisher of our faith, but he literally controls our life. He knows our expiration date, like the literal one. The literal one. What I'm trying to say is, y'all, always be cognitive of what's leading you. Work to be spirit-led. Work to honor God first. Work to honor him first, and the rest will automatically align itself. It's kind of like a container. You put the big rocks in first. You fill it up with sand. That thing, there's not going to be room for the things that matter most. There's not going to be room for the big things. But if you pour the big things in first, your foundational pillars, if you put those things in place first, so that those are the things that fill it up, the rest will fill in the cracks. And there will be so much of your faith expanded that you won't have as much room. Your appetite for sin will decrease. I'm speaking from experience, y'all. The more we feed our spirit with good things instead of filth, the less appetite we are going to have. We're full. We don't have the appetite for sin, or not as much of it. I mean, sometimes we sin by accident, but we're not going to have as much room for sin. All right? So what led? That's this week's redefining moment. What led? All right, y'all. So this episode was a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I hope that you got something from it. Chime in the comment section and let me know what your favorite part of today's episode was, what you're working on, what can I pray for you for? Like, what are you, and if you don't want to put in the comments, DM me at quench_Dree on Instagram, or at Redefining YEW. I want to connect with you. I want to pray with you. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you. If you're where I'm from, listen, I want to go, let's go brunch somewhere. I'm not a big breakfast person, but let's go brunching. Let's go do that. Let's go sit down. Let's go brunch. If I happen to be flying your way, like I love to know where my listeners are from, because I happen to be on a plane pretty regularly. So if I happen to be in your city, hey, I'm gonna hit you up. Hey, what you doing? You know, let's go brunch. Let's communicate. Let's connect. Let's chat it up. Let's be a community, y'all. I cannot wait to see you grow and glow. Until next time, this is episode 6 in the books. I cannot wait to see everything that God is going to do in your life. I hope that today you find another way to check back in, keep going for your goals. Don't give up. Don't check out. Like, take time off the table and commit to transformative things that you can establish for a lifetime. Make these lifestyle and lifetime changes. Make it your norm. Let your faith spread out into the inner corners of your life. And when that faith expands, it's only up from here, y'all. I'll see you next time. Have a good one, y'all.